Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, or not Monday, Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. This is the Podman Community Cabal meeting. Today, we have 3 topics. However, a couple of our folks aren't here yet, so we may have to delay on some of these. The first one up for today was data production for appliance backup application, Vikas Goyle, and I'm not seeing Vikas. Did anybody hear from him?
I have not.
Okay. And then the next was Podman rootless containers do not populate the IP by Depeche Firma. And I did not hear about this one until just about 5 minutes ago. Has anybody talked with Depeche or recommended that he join for this, or she, I should say? Okay. And then the only other topic we were discussing just before we came on, that we had talked within our internal cabal, and that's about Podman reverse dependency testing in containers common. And Matt, Paul was thinking that there wasn't a whole lot more to discuss about that. Did you have anything you wanted to mention, or at least give a quick overview on what the decisions were made?
Sure. So basically, the problem here that we are trying to solve is this. We have a couple different repositories that code that eventually lands in Podman lives in. We have obviously the base libraries, container storage, containers image. Then we have the containers common library, which has a bunch of shared code between our projects. And then we have Builda, and then we have Podman. So there's a rather substantial chain of code that eventually lands in Podman as dependencies. The desire here was to add some sort of reverse testing within all of these repositories, well, not all, at least some of these repositories, starting with containers common, to basically ensure that a change in containers common is guaranteed to not break Podman, because we were having some problems with that during the Podman 5 cycle. We'd commit a change to containers common, it wouldn't be adequately tested when it landed in Podman, then we'd have to go back to containers common and fix things before we actually got the change into Podman. So we have decided that we are going to start doing this. Lakesh is investigating doing it using the Fedora test harness framework. And once we have at least basic testing implemented, we think this is going to be a big benefit to our overall development workflow in dependency library of Podman, basically ensuring we don't have any question as to whether things are going to work when we go and put them into Podman. Yeah, I think that's about it. Did I summarize well, Paul, Lakesh, or anything I missed?
Yeah, I think we discussed it last week at the internal Cabal, but you weren't there, I think.
Okay.
So what I remember, maybe Lakesh can add, that we agreed on having his build test PR for now, and testing just the builds, because testing all the Podman tests is probably too much to.
Yeah, that's about right. I'll be adding, for now, my plan is to add Podman and build tests to as part of the CI. So basically, check if the PR gets vendor fine in Builda and Podman, and if they build okay. That's the plan for now.
Okay, I think that is our answer there. We're going to do it, and yeah. Tom, that's about it on this topic, I think.
Okay. The other 2 topics we don't, I believe, looking at the folks, we don't have Vivek here, who's going to talk about data production for appliances. And then we were going to have Depeche here for rootless containers not populating the IP. Is there anything anybody here knows about those that would like to discuss this or get a discussion started? Or should we put these off to the next Cabal meeting next month?
I mean, I can answer why there isn't the IP listed. Basically, like the default rootless container, like Slurp for Naniness or Pasta, are in a separate namespace, and you cannot reach this IP. So even if we would put the IP in there, you would have no way to route there, so the IP doesn't give you anything. It would add more confusion, in my opinion, if there's an IP that cannot be reached from externally. We do support --network bridge as rootless, and that gives you shows you the IP there, but it's also not routable from the host network namespace. But this IP would be routable between the containers, so there it makes sense.
Okay. Well then, this is might be an extremely quick meeting. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to talk about today? Have any topics? I was thinking possibly, Matt, I don't know if you want to talk about 5.0 and where it's at.
Sure. This will be a very brief update. The release PR has been made. We're holding off until after lunch, US East Coast time. Once that happens, we will have everyone ready to do the final release tasks. And given that I expect about 3 hours from now, we will have a 5.0 tagged and ready for testing.
Sounds great. Right. Still not seeing any of these folks that were supposed to be here for this. I'm going to give it one last call for any other topics or questions. And if not, I know there are a bunch of us that have a bunch of work to get going to, so I think it may wrap this meeting up extremely early. Okay. Not hearing anything. Going once, going twice. Right, it's gone. Let me stop the recording here and we'll wrap up the meeting. Thanks for coming, folks, and sorry it was so quick.